Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today we'll be covering the official Handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition, Volume 16. Number 16 in this series, which is the Book of the Dead. This is the Deluxe Edition, the double-size edition I've been covering. We're in the stretch run now. 16 through 20 is what we have remaining, and we're covering 16 today. And we can see here that this issue covers Airwalker to Deathstalker. Our excellent cover artist is Keith Pollard, once again picking up from last issue. And opening up, let's take a quick look at our credits. Mark Grunwald, editor-designer. Peter Sanderson, writer-researcher. Joseph Rubenstein, inker and embellisher. That's on all the figures. Greg Wright, assistant editor. Keith Pollard, as I said, is a cover penciler. Andy Janchus is our series colorist. Been there the whole way. And then we have, let me see if James Fry is listed again as the art enhancer. And that's going to be really important in this series because each panel below the main figure is going to show that figure's demise. So that's kind of an important thing for this series as we begin to wrap it up. And we have a column here from writer-editor Mark Grunwald called Dead Reckoning. And I'll just read briefly from it. Death has been a fact of life since the earliest days of modern Marvel history. While certain individuals, such as Dr. Doom, have made it their stock and trade to escape from one seeming death after another, still others, like Ben Parker, Bucky, Baron Zemo, the First, Franklin Storm, and Henry Pym's first wife, Maria, met actual irrevocable deaths. There have been people who seem to have met actual irrevocable deaths, only to revive some months or years later. The most notable of these are Jean Grey, who was believed dead from X-Men 137 to Fantastic Four number 286, Wonder Man, who was believed dead from Avengers number 9 to 152, and Professor X, who was believed dead from X-Men 42 to 65. But for the most part, irrevocable deaths in the Marvel Universe are exactly what they seem to be. Then he goes on to discuss the nature of death, character death, and how it's used in the larger Marvel Universe. Great column. I just wanted to read that little excerpt from it before we get started. So let's then dive in. We have Airwalker as our first. He is a Herald of Galactus. Gabriel Lon. First appearance in robot form, Fantastic Four 123, in real form, Thor 306. And then final appearance, that's another thing they've added for this particular remaining 5 volumes. The final appearance, Thor 306. Airwalker died sometime prior to his first appearance on Earth. Okay, so that must be a flashback Thor story. And here we have his demise here. Laid out for us. Before we move on, I just want to, in Mark Grunwald's own words, describe this particular scheme they put together for this last 5 issues. Beneath the main figure of the majority of our entries, we illustrate the character's circumstances at time of death. Wherever possible, we have reproduced the exact panel where the demise occurred. In some cases, there was not a clear shot of these circumstances, and we have commissioned our staff and art enhancer James Fry and staff embellisher Joe Rubenstein to clearly render the scene. So that's cool. Good work for James Fry early on in his career. And I think in these Airwalker shots here, we get some... there's a shot of the Airwalker robot being destroyed. Pretty cool. Very stunning, visually stunning character. We get the Ancient One, drawn by Carl Potts, doing his best Steve Ditko impression. Very cool. First appearance, Strange Tales 111. Final appearance as a corporeal being, Marvel Premiere number 10. He was Doctor Strange's mentor. As anyone who has seen the Doctor Strange movies probably knows. Lots of great Ditko panels here. Totally awesome. Powerful sorcerer the Ancient One is. And next up, we have the Annie-Men. Who does our minifigures here for the Annie-Men? Oh, Luke McDonald, one of my favorite artists. Luke McDonald did such great work on Suicide Squad. These are, as I look at them, classic Luke McDonald figures. Really cool. The Annie-Men were two teams of criminals who had costumes and abilities similar to the physical appearances and certain abilities of the animals whose names they bore. So let's see here. Ape-Man, in his superhuman form, could lift press roughly 10 tons. First appearance, Daredevil 310, and Ape-Man 2, Daredevil 157. Final appearance, Daredevil 158 for Ape-Man 2. And these are all going to follow. Well, no, they don't all first appear in the same issue. Catman first appeared in Iron Man 116. Last appeared Daredevil 158. Looks like a version 2. First appearance, final appearance. Yeah, they have different final appearances. They're cool, like very much lesser foes for characters to face. Obviously, they were in the X-Men 94 and 95, those fateful first issues of the Uncanny after Giant Size X-Men #1, they were the foes of the X-Men, and they were the powered versions. Baron Blood, who was featured in that awesome John Byrne, Roger Stern, Captain America, short-lived run. Very cool shot here of him being beheaded by Cap, which happens in that issue. Let's see, what is his final appearance? Captain America 254. First appearance, Invaders #7. Who does the artwork on him? Alan Davis. Very cool. And we do get a little bit of Kirby here, and we get some John Byrne from that particular series of issues of Cap. Baron Strucker. Looks like Mike Zeck. It is Mike Zeck. First appearance, Sergeant Furious Howling Commandos #5. Final appearance, Strange Tales 158. And here we have his destruction here. It looks like Steranko artwork there for that panel. Really cool. We get some shots of him. There's him with the Satan Claw, which was his trademark weapon. That, I think, this is from, a flashback story in X-Men 161. They have a little nice Dave Cockrum panel there. And that's, I think, some more Steranko. 6'2", 225 was Baron Strucker. Baron Strucker was an Olympic-level athlete. Strucker took special serums developed by Hydra scientists, which maintained his physical vitality and strength as he aged. That's cool. I guess his version of the super soldier serum. So Baron Zemo 1. First appearance, Avengers 4. Final appearance, Avengers 15. Classic Cap foe, Avengers foe, and really cool here. He's dying in an avalanche. He, of course, will be succeeded by his son. You get lots of nice classic panels with Zemo here. Basilisk, who is the unfortunately real name of Basil Elks. First appearance in Origin, Marvel Team Up #16. I actually own that issue because he first appeared in it. I like to track down the first appearances of sort of lesser villains. I think it's fun. And it's rather affordable. Fantastic Four 289 is his last appearance. FF 289. And here he is being done in by Scourge, the Scourge of the Underworld, with one of those patented explosive bullets. Excellent John Byrne pencils there. And this Basilisk is drawn by Sandy Plunkett. Sandy Plunkett, great figure artist. And I'll point out one interesting thing about the Basilisk. It says here, strength level. The Basilisk possessed superhuman strength, enabling him to lift press approximately 800 pounds. Well, Captain America could lift press 800 pounds according to the Handbook, Volume 2. And his strength was not listed as superhuman, but here the Basilisk's strength is. So it's a little weird inconsistencies here. Fun. It's fun to talk about. Definitely good to talk about in the stacks at the comic shop. Beyonder, really, the less said about him, the better. I'm just going to move on. Secret Wars 2 was an extremely low point for Marvel. And we're done. Big Man. All right, Big Man. Frederick Foswell, a Spider-Man character with a lot of history. First appeared in Amazing number 10. Final appearance as Big Man, Amazing Spider-Man number 10. As Foswell, Amazing Spider-Man number 52. Looks like, yeah, it looks like he gets gunned down here in his human identity. That's cool. Bad for him, but I'm sure it was an interesting story. Yeah, and he was, I think, was behind hiring the Enforcers, who were these three really cool guys. Ox, Montana, and Fancy Dan. Love them. Group affiliation, the Daily Bugle. This is the first Black Knight, Black Knight 1. Here he is in his death scene being struck down from behind. First modern appearance, Marvel Superheroes 17. Final appearance as a living man, Marvel Superheroes number 17. Sir Percy of Scandia. Then Black Knight 2. These are not the Dane Whitman Black Knights, obviously, who had that long run in Avengers. First appearance in Origin, Tales to Astonish, number 52. Final appearance, Avengers 47. And here he is apparently falling to his death. Pretty cool panel there. Blackout, great villain. First appearance was Nova, number 19. So Nova, while the series itself had a pretty short run, produced some what I think are visually interesting villains. And Blackout, Marcus Daniels is definitely one of them. Another one of those characters who can manipulate the Dark Force. His final appearance was Avengers 277, which is that incredible Siege on the Mansion storyline. He was one of the main reasons Zemo was able to win initially, because he was one of the few characters who was powerful enough to imprison and stymie Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and basically exile her to the Dark Dimension. Here he is dying at the hands of Zemo. Great John Buscema, Tom Palmer artwork as Zemo overloads the psychic circuitry that he was using to control him, and apparently fries his brain. Blackout possessed the ability to tap and manipulate an intense black form of extra-dimensional energy called the Dark Force. Once again, another of those nebulous Dark Force wielders. Okay, so this is the original Blizzard, Gregor Shapanka. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man Annual 20. That's final appearance. First appearance as Jack Frost, Tales of Suspense 45. As Blizzard, Iron Man 86. And final appearance, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 20. And here he is apparently being blasted to death by Iron Man. That is an interesting panel. For a short time, Gregor Shapanka as Jack Frost possessed the power to create intense cold without artificial means. So mainly, though, he relied on his battle suit, which gave him that power. And that's him in the original suit there. Pretty cool. Oh, and here we have probably my favorite character in this particular volume, Bloodstone, aka Ulysses Bloodstone. First appearance, Marvel Presents number 1. Final appearance, Rampaging Hulk number 8. And this is great artwork by Tony Salmons, I believe. Yes, Tony Salmons. And look at this incredible death scene that they gave him in Rampaging Hulk number 4. Really cool, as he seemingly was immortal, but then quickly ages before he commits his final act of heroism, just slaying this monster. Really cool character. He had a great power set. 6'2", 225 pounds, eyes blue, hair blonde, strength level. Bloodstone possessed superhuman strength and can lift press about 5 tons. Apart from his superhuman strength, the Bloodstone also conferred upon Bloodstone vast regenerative powers, enabling him to recover from virtually any form of injury to the dispersion of the vital portion of the bodily molecules. It also conferred upon him vast regenerative powers. That's repeated text. Enabling him to recover from virtually any injury up to... Yeah, so that text repeats here. Interesting. A little bit of editing snafu there. The period of regeneration would vary according to the severity of the injury. To regenerate a missing leg once took him about a decade. So that's pretty cool. Level of detail there. Bloodstone's reflexes in its 5 senses were also heightened to a functional level about 1.5 times that of an Olympic athlete. Bloodstone had an invisible third eye on his forehead, granting him a number of extrasensory perceptions, including the ability to see human auras. So really neat. I do have some of the issues that Bloodstone first made his appearances in as a monster hunter. And then in the late 90s, Roger Stern and Mike Manley did a Marvel Universe series where there was 3 issues of Bloodstone featured as one of the monster hunters, along with Dr. Druid, a distant female relative or ancestor of the Black Panther, and the original Mole Man, if you can believe it. Really cool stuff. Blue Streak, another one of those sort of lesser villains that was hanging around Marvel that Grunwald had decided was chaff, and so here we see him being done in by Scourge once again. We're going to see a lot of Scourge in this book and through the books moving forward. First appearance, Cap 217. Final appearance, Captain America 318. Bucky. Now this is a sensitive one because for so long, Bucky was not going to be brought back, but eventually Marvel gave in the 2000s and brought him back, and it arguably was a pretty great Winter Soldier story and became the backbone of that incredible Captain America movie, Winter Soldier. But still, I would have liked to seen Bucky stay dead. Here he is exploding on the plane. Great artwork. Captain Marvel, the death of Captain Marvel was so moving. I covered it on the show a couple of months ago. It's been one of my most popular videos. If you haven't checked it out, please do. First appearance, Marvel Superheroes 18. Final appearance, Marvel Graphic Novel number 1. So, and this is Jim Starlin artwork here. I'm sure of it. Let's just make sure. Yep, Jim Starlin. Here's his scene where he just passes away peacefully with all those folks surrounding him and around him, which is really cool. Some great action panel sequences here. Originally, Captain Marvel possessed the normal human strength of a Kree of his age, height, and build. Under Earth's gravity, he could lift press 1,000 pounds. His Kree negabands enabled Marvel to convert his psionic energy into physical strength so that he could lift press 10 tons. There's been a lot of weirdness surrounding his powers too, like in the final battle against Thanos, aboard Thanos' Ark. Starlin draws him like shooting a photonic blast, but there's really no mention of his energy manipulating abilities in this. This also says further down here that he can actually lift press 15 tons. So this essentially is reprinting the power text from the old entry from the previous edition, but then they add this up here, which creates some contrary information. Carrion, very fun Spider-Man and scary Spider-Man villain drawn by Bob Budiansky. That's nice figure work there. Here we see a very strange death scene. First appearance, Spectacular Spider-Man 25. Final appearance, Spectacular Spider-Man 31. So he had a very short run as a Spider-Man villain. I thought he had a chance to be a contender as one of Spider-Man's most potent and menacing villains. Carrion possessed superhuman strength, able to lift press about 10 tons. He possessed telepathic powers. He could read minds. He could reduce his density. He could levitate. Man, he was like a Swiss Army knife villain, man. He had a lot going on. Sharon Carter, Captain America's erstwhile lover. She passes away here in this panel. First appearance, Tales of Suspense 75. Final appearance, Captain America 237. Sentry, Turner D. So this is another one of those lesser villains. who was done in by Scourge, and we can see Scourge killing him here at the. I think this happened at the bar with no name. Turner D. Century possessed the normal human strength of a man of his age, height, and build who engaged in moderate, regular exercise. He had a flamethrower concealed within an umbrella. He rode a bicycle that could fly through the air by unknown means. Really a strange character. First appearance in Origins, Spider-Woman 33. Final appearance, Cap 319. Here's the Champions of Xandar. Nice figure work on these too. Let me take a look at the champion. Oh, Mike Harris. Good work, Mike Harris, which on the Champions of Xandar. Oh, powerhouse. Love that character. He could lift press about 1 ton. Enhanced, he could multiply his natural strength 50-fold, so he could get up to 50 tons. Crime Buster, just a non-powered gun-toting dude. Comet. He was an energy projector and flyer, and here we see them all exploding. This is probably one of those panels that Jim Fern got to enhance with Joe Rubenstein. Final appearance, ROM 24. Yeah, it looks like they all die in ROM 24. Here is Changeling, that mutant who briefly impersonated Professor X and then died for him. First appearance, X-Men 35. Final appearance, Death in Xavier's Guise, X-Men 42. So this character, I think, was the basis for Morph from the X-Men cartoon. Pretty cool character. Cheetah, Esteban Caracas. First appearance in Origin, Captain Marvel 48. Final appearance, Captain America 319. He's another one of the guys who gets gunned down at the bar with no name. The Cheetah possessed superhuman strength, enabling the lift press about 8 tons. Apart from its superhuman strength, the Cheetah could run at superhuman speeds of up to 75 miles per hour. He also possessed razor-sharp claws. And apparently he lost his powers at some point. Who does this rather interesting artwork on the Cheetah? Let's take a look. Paul Ryan. That's a nice Marvel House style he's in there. Commander Kraken, another lesser villain gunned down at the bar with no name. Again, Captain America, first appearance, Submariner 27. Final appearance, Cap 319. That was a significant issue. Let's see. He had a bionic left hand, which gave him super strength in his left hand. I love this Kirby. This was a Kirby cover when he came back to Marvel and was doing covers for a while. I think mostly laid out and set up by Marie Severin, but Kirby would come in and do the pencils. And totally awesome Iron Man cover here with Kraken in his old uniform. Another sort of gadget villain, one of those modern day pirates. Count Nefaria, really great. This looks like, I wonder if that's Kyle Baker. Let me take a look here. Oh no, Willis Portacio. Some early Marvel Willis Portacio here. Here we see him being crushed under this tank. That's apparently how he passes away. He is a part of what I think is the single greatest Avengers story of all time, 164 to 166, what I call the Count Nefaria saga. Completely awesome, written by Jim, probably the best thing Jim Shooter's ever written, and drawn by John Byrne and Pablo Marcos, and it is fire. This is totally awesome. This is from it. He basically gets the powers of Superman, and proceeds to just slaughter the Avengers until Thor shows up and a number of other things occur, machinations. There is him in a tank, I guess a revivification or some kind of suspended animation tank, keeping him alive. That's a cool panel. Let's see. Professor Sturdy's treatment. Due to Professor Sturdy's treatment, Nefaria briefly possessed superhuman strength that was never measured, but that allegedly surpassed that of the Hulk or Thor. So he was class 100 at that point, and he had a number of other superhuman powers that were just off the chain. Cyclone, another victim of the Scourge killer at the bar with no name. Here he is again. Captain America 319. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man 143. Final appearance, Cap 319. Superhuman powers, none. Within his costume, the Cyclone concealed mechanisms that enabled him to accelerate volumes of air to great velocity within a radius of about 100 feet from his body in the form of tornado force winds about himself. So he was like a whirlwind. He was like a whirlwind without the mutant power. It was a suit, basically. But it didn't save him from Scourge's explosive bullets. Dakim the Enchanter. Very weird character. First appearance, Fear, number 14. Final appearance as a corporeal being, giant-sized man-thing, number 3. So yeah, this is one of those characters I don't know a lot about. He had a host of magical powers, it looks like. So, interesting character. Damian Margot, or Margot Damian, I should say. She is from the Eternals. Her first appearance was Eternals Volume 1, Number 1. Her final appearance was Eternals Volume 2, Number 10, where apparently she dies in some kind of experiment gone awry. Oh, I love the visual look of this character, Darkoth. Desmond Pitt is his real name. First appearance, FF-142. Final appearance, corporeal form, FF-194. Spiritual form, Thor 322. Here he is apparently blowing up in this panel, which is pretty scary looking. As Darkoth, he was 6'6", and he they don't have his weight as Darkoth. His weight untransformed was 225, so that's a little error. They missed his weight. Darkoth possessed superhuman strength and can lift press about 50 tons. So he was a good match for the Thing, and they fought a number of times, I think. As a cybernetic organism further mutated through chemical means, Darkoth possessed a number of superhuman powers. Major portions of his skeleton were replaced with steel alloy. And Darkoth's outer skin was transformed into a thick purple hide that could withstand the Thing's mightiest blows. In place of fingers, Darkoth was equipped with steel talons. Darkoth also possessed a prehensile tail. On Darkoth's head were 2 antennae called fire horns. The fire horns, in some as yet unknown way, fed on mental energies of Darkoth's opponents within a range of 50 feet. Fully charged, the horns were capable of emitting a powerful heat ray that could melt through several tons of steel. Pretty powerful character. A good foe for the FF and the Thing. Death Adder, another victim of Scourge, but this time he was killed in Captain America 318, not 319. First appearance, Marvel 2 in 164. That was the Serpent Crown affair. He was an original member of the Serpent Squad, the third incarnation of the Serpent Squad, and then a member of the ill-fated Serpent Society, one of my favorite villain groups. Strength. Death Adder possessed superhuman strength and able to lift press approximately 1 ton on land. And he had great speed. He was amphibious. He had the ability to poison his foes using his claws. So he was cool. Deathstalker, visually stunning villain. Very cool. Philip Wallace Sterling was his name. First appearance as Exterminator, Daredevil 39. As Deathstalker, Daredevil 113. Final appearance, Daredevil 158. And that was after the debut. That might have been the debut of Frank Miller on Daredevil. And let's see here. Really cool use of him using his shocking touch here. Deathstalker ordinarily existed in an interdimensional realm lying so close to Earth's dimension that he could watch and listen to events on Earth without himself being observed in his realm by people in the Earth dimension. Let's see. By willing himself to do so while on Earth, he could instantaneously shift from tangibility to intangibility, or disappear. Let's see. He also had a cybernetic death grip, which is a weapon developed for him by AIM. All right, very cool. So that's all the entries in our first issue. Now on the inside back cover, we have strength levels in the known Marvel Universe. Very cool. The following chart ranks the known living active denizens of the Marvel Universe according to their ability to lift press weights. So we have all the class 100 characters, including all our cosmic folks. The 95 tonners, the 90 tonners, 85 tons. Yeah, very cool. I like this. So it gives you a good way to kind of like figure out where your favorite characters fall. It seems like it should be larger. Yeah, and once again, Basilisk, who was in this issue. Of course, this is living characters, so none of your dead characters are going to be in here. So that's a point not worth making. So yeah, that was issue 16 of the official Handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition, the first Book of the Dead. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.